What's up? This is Kobe with Sample Source back with another video. If you don't know who I am already, I'm a full-time producer. I've been doing this for over 4 years now, and I've helped over 9 producers to get to 2,000 to 4,000 a month. And in this video today, what I'm going to break down start to finish is my exact strategy and the exact way I would approach it, starting from scratch to building your beat business to 3,000 a month within the next 16 weeks. So I use something what I call the rapid sales system. So what is the rapid sales system? That's what I'm going to break down in this video. So essentially what this is high ticket sales. High ticket sales is selling stuff for a lot of money, not a little bit of money. So knowing that this is not going to be something to sell a cheap YouTube type beat lease, this is going to be something to sell like a custom beat, an exclusive, or some kind of beat package deal, anywhere from 250 all the way up into the multiple thousands of dollars. So in business, you have 3 phases. Phase 1 is what's called lead gen. Phase 2 is what's called lead nurture. And phase 3 of every business is what's called lead conversion. And so what is lead gen? It is generating artists that are interested in our beats. What is lead nurture? It is generating artists that are interested in buying our offers specifically. And what is lead conversion? It is getting them to buy and getting them to buy now. So those are the 3 phases of business. And now let's break down what is lead generation. How do you generate leads? How do you get artists interested in your business and start to engage with your content? So you can do that 3 ways. You can do it with ads, you can do it with content, or you can do it with DMs. Now, I always say to just do DMs first, because if you're focusing on content or you're focusing on ads, what's going to happen is content takes the longest to make money. So I prefer to just post a few pieces of content to actually show them my product, but not to actually convert them into sales, because it takes the longest time to convert. Now with ads, it takes money and it takes testing. And so you can actually dump thousands into ads and not make a cent back like I have. I have made an ROI on ads, and I've made thousands off of ads. But when I first started, I was just dumping thousands of dollars into it and not making anything back. So this is sending DMs. You can find artists on Spotify. So use Spotify to find the artist, and then you shoot them over a DM. So my intro line is always like, yo, what's up? I heard your song XYZ on Spotify. I think you're a dope artist. How long have you been making music for? That's a good intro line to do it. So we are DMing the artist. We're finding them on Spotify, and that's how I'm getting them to engage. Now, the second thing is lead nurture, and this can be with like email marketing. It can be with messaging, or it can be with what's called a triage call. So since we're going direct messages, we're going to directly sell to them. So we don't need email marketing to get to 3,000 a month. So instead, we're going to use messaging, and then we're going to use triage calls. So this is the triage, and then we have messaging right here. So essentially, we go from the DMs, and then we go into messaging. We start talking about like their release schedule. So it's like, you releasing music anytime soon? Yes, I am. Cool. What kind of vibe are you looking for? They let us know what kind of vibe. Then we say like, that's what's up. Well, not sure if you care or not, but I have some beats in that lane that I think that you would be interested in. So once they say that they're interested in them, you're like, cool. Do you want to hop onto a quick call where we can talk about your vision for music this year? So that's the triage call. On this call, all we're trying to do is get them to know, like, and trust us. We're trying to get them to know, like, and trust us. Do you notice I didn't mention anything about this right here? This is where a lot of people go wrong. On that call, they start mentioning money. All you want to do is get them to know, like, and trust you. You're not selling anything on this call. And if you do that, it's going to develop trust. It's going to develop goodwill. They're going to know a lot about your business, and they're going to be interested in it. And they're going to like you a lot more because they can connect with you as a human being before you sell them a product. So that's what the triage is for. And at the end, the only pitch we have is like, hey, I do charge for beats. Not sure if that's a deal breaker, but if it isn't, we can hop onto a Zoom call We can preview some beats and see if any are a good fit or not for your next project. So that's the pitch you want to do. So that leads us to the next step, which is lead conversion. Lead conversion has 2 steps in it as well. So the first one is going to be the form. It's a qualifying form. And then the second step to convert them is going to be the 90-minute Zoom call. So it goes from DMs to messaging, messaging to triage, triage to the form, and from the form to the sales call. So it's just 5 quick steps. And once you get onto this call, like the form is going to identify a couple of things like what kind of vibe are you going for? What kind of feel are you going for in the track? What kind of elements are you looking for? Do you want mixing and mastering done? Little stuff like that. But then you want 2 specific questions on it, which are going to be, do you have money? And at the end of the call, if everything's a good fit, can you move forward? Yes or no? These are yes or no questions. So you have some fluff questions, and then you have these 2 that you want to pay attention to. Do you have money? Can you move forward at the end of the call? Yes or no? If they say yes to both, then take them over to the Zoom call and show up. And if you're wondering, like, how do I set up integrations to get this to work? From Triage to Form to Zoom, you can integrate all of that with Calendly and Typeform. So I use Typeform here for the form, and then you can set up what's called logic so that if they say no to either of these questions, it tosses them out of the funnel and doesn't let them book a call. If it does, then it'll take them over and to Calendly, and they can book a call with you through Zoom. So that's all going to integrate. So you have Calendly, you have Zoom, and you have Typeform. So Typeform is $29 a month. Zoom is $15.99 a month, and then Calendly is free. Now, if you want to make it completely free other than Zoom, then cut out this and put Calendly here and just put required questions here. Then you'll have to sift through each form. So you won't have the logic that tosses them out. But if you only have about 3 calls a week, you don't need it. You can do all of this, which is Calendly and Zoom. So you pay $15.99 to set up this entire system because Instagram audio calls are free, sending DMs is free, and finding them on Spotify is free as well. So you can do all of that for free, other than Zoom is $15.99 to have a call go for more than 40 minutes, and these typically take 90 minutes. So that's the tech side of it. When you get onto the Zoom call, let's break down how you'll actually sell to them. So I told you this is going to be a complete training. So on the triage call, you're going to ask them questions about where they're at. This is going to be the conversion process. So triage call is the first step of the sales process where you talk to them. On this one, you want to figure out where are they at and where do they want to go to. So you figure out their goals first. So you're like, where do you want to go to? And they tell you that, I want to go here. So you put a pin in that. Then you say, where are you at? And they tell you exactly what's happening right now, and you put a pin in here. Now, what you offer them is going to be in the gap in between this to get them to their goal. So if they give you answers to questions like, yeah, I get my beats off of YouTube, and you're like, hey, have you ever had like a personal producer before to help out with beats, or do you just usually get them off YouTube? They're like, yeah, I just get them off of YouTube. You're like, cool. So do you find that like takes a long time to find the right beat? They're like, yeah, it takes me like 3-4 hours every time. I'm like, is that taken away from your creativity? Or are you good with that method? They're like, yeah, I'm okay with it, but I would prefer to have my own producer, honestly, like somebody in-house to produce for me. So this is what you found in the middle, which is called pain. So they're like, hey, I prefer to have a personal producer. So if you want to sell them a custom beat, then you're like, from what I'm hearing, I know you said that you want to release 20 songs by the end of next year, but you only have 2 right now. And you were saying that what would help you is if you had a personal producer, so you could avoid going on YouTube for type beats, and you could just have your own beats made to your specs in-house. Is that fair to say, or is that completely out of pocket? If they say that's fair to say, then you've correctly identified the pain point that they need to move forward. And then you say, cool, well, I'm not sure if you would want to do this or not, but I typically go and hop on Zoom with artists, we could do a vibe session and go through some beats. And if they're a good fit, cool, we can move forward and I can make you something similar to the references you provide. But if not, then no worries. Like, there's no pressure to buy anything. If they say that's cool, then you send them to the form, they answer the questions, and then they go to the Zoom call. Right? So now we figured out how to pitch them, get them onto the Zoom call. So it's like, what do I say to actually get them to buy? So there's a few steps on the Zoom call. When you jump on, you have to develop some rapport. That's not very important, so I'm not even going to start with that as number one. That you can call that step 0, but like, ask them how the weather's at, ask them how the music scene's like in their city, stuff like that. You can do it on the triage call, and when you get on the Zoom call, it's like, well, what do I ask them? It's like, well, how's your day going? They're like, it's good. I just got back from the gym. And you're like, hey, my day's going good as well. I just finished, doing a workout as well, or, making a beat, and now I'm here talking with you. That's all rapport is. So once you've got rapport out of the way, you need to do what's called framing the call. So the only thing that the frame is used for, it's the most important part of the call, is to get a yes or no. So with a frame, I always say, hey, have you ever been on a call like this before with a producer? They're usually going to say no. If they say yes, it doesn't matter. Either way, you're like, got it. So I just didn't want to hit you out of left field with anything. So what I typically do on these calls is we'll just chop it up. We'll go through some beats, and you can let me know like how they're sounding. If they sound good, then cool. We can move forward and take the first payment. Excuse me. But if you say, these aren't right for the project, then no worries. I'm just looking for a yes or a no, if that makes sense, so we can make more music together. And I'm trying to stay away from like maybes, I don't knows, I'll think about it. Is that fair to say yes or no at the end of the call? Then if they say yes to it, the frame, then you move forward. If they say no, then you don't take the call. So essentially you're framing it so that you can get them to be honest with you. So that's step 1. Step 2 is actually going and just doing a recall of what you did on the triage call. So you're basically going to go over and confirm what they actually needed. So once you confirm what they needed, you're like, cool, let's go through some beats. So you're going to preview the beats. And the most important part of this, especially if you're doing a custom beat, you can sell beat packs with this, you can sell exclusives, is what's called doing a temperature check. So when you're on this call, after each beat that you preview, you're like, how did you feel about that beat? They tell us, yeah, it sounds good. Or they say, no, it sounds bad. And you're like, either way, you're like, what did you like about that beat? Or what did you not like about that beat? So then when they say that, then you say, okay, was this like a for sure, a maybe, or a no? If they say it's for sure, then go and make a checkbox, go and make some notes on your phone that says that they want that specific beat. If they say it's a maybe, then still put it down as a maybe. If they say no, then move on to the next beat and ask them what they're looking for more of so that you can play more of what they like. So you do a temperature check after each beat. Now, if you're doing a custom beat, then you might be going through references. So you're on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, it doesn't matter. You're going to go through references, and you need to let them know after each reference is played how you would tie that reference into the custom beat. So that way you're checking the temperature and you're making sure that you're giving them confidence that you can do the job. So after you preview them, you're like, all right, cool. From those previews, like, I felt really good about it. Did you feel good about it? They say yes. You're like, all right, cool. So at this point, this is when you'll do your pitch. So when you're pitching, all you need to do is say what most producers do. And then what you do. So there's most, and then there's you. So then you need to point out every part of what most producers do that's wrong, and then why you have the right fit for them. So you might say something like, most producers hide behind a brandless YouTube and they never show their face because they don't want to actually have a personal relationship with artists. What I do instead is I like to hop onto one-on-one calls through Zoom, and I'll give you updates on the beat, and you can let me know any changes you need made. So that way it's more personal. I can check in on you and make sure that you're able to write to the beat okay. And if you need any changes, I'll be there. I'll give you 30 days of free revisions. So that would be one of the points that you make. Another point you can make, you can say, hey, like the second thing that a lot of producers do is they put limits on their beats. I think that it's silly. I mean, there's no way I'm going to be able to keep track of where you're at with licensing. So that's why I give unlimited licenses. So either way, you're going to want to make the pillars of your business so that it makes you to stand out. So there's what most people do. You don't want to be most people. And then there's what you do. And that's going to be what you want them to want. So the whole part of the pitch, it's designed to address all of their concerns and give them an offer that makes them want to buy it. You don't want to tell them the price before. You tell them the price after. So after you pitch, you want to say, was that not helpful or was that helpful to you? If they say it's helpful, then you're like, okay, a scale of 1 to 10, was this like not going to be a good fit for you, or was this exactly 100% what you're looking for? If they say, yeah, it's 100% what I'm looking for, I think if I was putting on a scale of 10, I would say, let's say an 8. Let's say if they do an 8. If they do a 7 or less, then they're not going to buy. And you'll just ask them, okay, got you. What can I do to get you to a 10? If they say an 8 or more, then you're like, okay, cool. Why did you say 8 specifically? If they say, I really like that you offer one-on-one help, you're like, okay, got you. So that's what you need then. They say, yes, that's what I need. All right, I just wanted to make sure this is going to help you. So that's basically doing a temperature check, but you're making sure that your offer is what they need, and you're making sure that it's something that they really want as well. The next and last phase is going to be what's called the price drop and close. So you're going to say, all right, cool. You ready to hear the price? They say yes. Then you say, okay, cool. So I'm giving you, let's say, 3 custom beats and the one-on-one support for 30 days, and you get all of that for just $1,000. So you're going to say the price during the close, and then you just want to shut up and be quiet, be still, and let them think about how they feel about it. You don't want to be like, but it's $1,000, but I have a payment plan, or we can go through this or that or the other thing and make it less, or it's really not that much because of this, that, and the other thing, or you're getting a great value because of X, Y, and Z. If you do that, you'll talk yourself out of the sale. So instead, you just decide to be quiet and listen to them so that you can see what they're struggling with the price. So if they say that's too much money, I can't do that, Kobe, then we're going to move into what's called a money objection. And so whenever you're closing, you're going to receive a money objection most of the time, and you want to do these three things always. They say it's a lot of money. You agree with them? For sure, I definitely understand that's a lot of money. The second thing you want to do is isolate. So you want to ISO this. The second thing you want to do is isolate, and what that is saying, other than the money, was there anything else holding us back from moving forward today? Money aside, was there anything else keeping us from working together? So you isolate that. You could also say, was it the beats or was it just the money side? They tell you, no, it's not the beats, it's just the money. So once you figure out that it's just the money, the third thing you want to do to close the sale is to do what's called a tie down. It's called a double tie down. What is a tie down? It's basically tying them down to what they just said. They said there's nothing other than money that's holding them back. So then I'm like, cool. If we figure out something that works with your budget, are you able to move forward? So at this point, if they say yes to that, they're like, well, yeah, if we can figure something out that works with the budget, we can move forward. Cool. Then we just simply ask them, how much money do you have available? They say, well, it's 1,000, but I only have 500. You're like, okay, got it. So I don't think you should spend all of it, but I think we should do some of it so we can get started and I can start working on the project. Is it possible to just do $250 a month? If they say $250 a month is possible, then you don't need to say anything else. All you need to say is, cool. Did you want to go through, I just go through Stripe, so I'll send you over the link. I just send it in the chat. So you go and make them a payment plan on Stripe as a recurring payment plan. And then I'll make another video on this at some point, but just go ahead and do that and send them the link in the chat and then say, I just sent it in the chat. Did you see that? Did it work okay? Then after they paid it, they'll let you know. and then you'll set up a time when you're going to start with the project, which should be ASAP after they paid you. So that's everything to do with sales, start to finish. You always want to go and follow these 5 steps. You want to frame the call. You want to confirm what they needed from the triage call. You preview the beats and do temperature checks. You pitch, saying what most producers do and then what you do. And then you're going to close by agreeing with them that it's a lot of money, isolating that money's the only thing holding them back, and tying down that if you can figure out the budget, they can move forward. So that's going to be 90% of sales, if not 99% of sales. I know this because I worked in sales. So that's why I'm teaching you guys this, so that you can go out, sell for yourselves, and build your own business instead of working for somebody else. That is everything that you need to make $3,000 a month right now. So if you want one-on-one help to get there so that you can quickly, within 16 weeks, be making $3,000 a month. If you want one-on-one help to get there, and I'll help you set up the systems, and I'll take you through training so that you can easily get there, then all I need you to do is go and click the link below and book a call with me. It's a strategy call, and it can be through phone. You can book it as a Zoom call and say, hey, I just want to talk over the phone. We can do that. If not, it'll just be through Zoom for 45 minutes. Talk over your goals about where you want to go, where you're at right now, and see if we can fix that bottleneck with my program. And if I can't, then I'll send you to somebody who can. And if I can, then we can move forward into the program, and I will teach you how to make thousands of dollars a month. So if you want that, click the link in the bio. I would love to talk with you and see if I can help you or not. And I know Marvin, when I helped him from the strategy call alone, he went from $1,400 a month to $2,500 a month. And we're already making $3,000 a month. In the program, he did all of that within a few weeks, not a few months, but it can happen within 28 days, within 60 days, 90 days. That's why I give you 16 weeks in the program. So if that sounds interesting at all, make sure you book a call below. Reach out to me, DM me the word full-time on Instagram at Kobe Sample Source if you have any questions at all. If not, click the link below, and I'll speak with you soon, and I'll see you guys in the next video.